Welcome to this edition of Tour Confidential on Golf.com. I'm Jessica Marksbury, joined today in our New York City studio by Sports Illustrated's Mark Godich, Golf.com's Mike Walker, and Sports Illustrated's Alan Shipnuck via Skype. This week marks 5 years since the fire hydrant heard round the world. And Alan, we are still waiting for Tiger to win that 15th major. My question for you is he still feeling the effects of his personal scandal?
Yeah, no question. Those events changed Tiger forever as a person, as a competitor. Certainly his body's been breaking down. His putting's not what it used to be. His swing is not as good. A lot of things have led to this long, slow decline. But at the golf tournaments, he felt like he deserved to win, that it was owed to him. And there was this sense of superiority that played out between the ropes. And I think all that was stripped away and it was replaced by a lot of shame and other things that took away his self-belief and his self-identity. And he's never been the same since then. It's
hard to believe it's been 5 years. Mark, what are your thoughts on Tiger's mentality then versus now?
Well, I think Alan's right to a point, but it has been 5 years, and he has won since he's come back at all the familiar spots. I think he's an old 38, almost 39 now, and let's face it, no one's intimidated by Tiger anymore, and I think the age is really showing at this point.
See, I think the hydrant is the reason he hasn't won a major. I think mentally, he's just never really come back from it. I mean, we all know most of golf, you're not doing anything but standing around thinking. And I think for a couple of years, that was really difficult for Tiger to keep it together. I think there are chances maybe Lytham in 2012, even those first 2 rounds at Olympic, where the old Tiger might have came through, and he just couldn't do it anymore. He lost that mental edge. I mean, part of it was Wai Yang. I mean, the sort of Buster Douglas of golf. But I mean, this hydrant, and I think that number one reason, the injuries, everything, I think would be second. I think this is number one.
I think he's trying too hard. I think he's finally showed he's human. I think he's, the nerves aren't what they used to be. That's why we see these missed short putts and whatnot. So, he has won. I think he's trying so hard to win these majors, and you only get 4 shots a year.
That is interesting. Tiger used to be kind of the untouchable figure, isn't that right, Alan? And now, all of a sudden, he has detractors. He has people out on the course who are taunting him and heckling him, and that just never used to be the case before.
Right, and to Mark's point, majors are the key to redemption for Tiger. To feel like he's come all the way back and he's rehabilitated himself as a golfer and in the public eye. He needs to win the majors. He needs to break Jack's record. And there was already a lot of pressure on that quest, and it's only intensified. And as he's lost time to injury, to scandal, to any number of things, every time he tees up at one of the 4 majors, the pressure is tremendous. And every time he doesn't win one, it just goes up another notch. So all these factors kind of commingle and exaggerate each other. And when you chronicle Tiger's decline, by far the biggest factor is, that Thanksgiving night in '09.
But how much mental scar tissue can there really be? At least from the outside looking in, he and Elin have separated amicably. They're raising their kids together. Tiger has Lindsey Vonn now, a stable relationship. You would think that kind of all of these things falling into place would make everything okay mentally for Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, I think that certainly that's true. I mean, the time heals all wounds, and the farther he gets away from this, I think the less it is a factor for him. But the major, like you mentioned, Mark, it's weighing on him. He wants it so badly, and I do think there's definitely something to be said for when your personal life is adrift. I mean, it affects your golf game. I think we saw that a lot with McIlroy when he was having. I mean, clearly in the relationship that wasn't working out for him, he ended that and he went on this amazing run of golf. I do think one thing to keep in mind, though, I think the golfing public's forgiven Tiger. I mean, the idea of him being heckled, I think, is over. I think maybe in the wider world, but the golfing public, when he wins major number 15, I mean, it'll be bigger than any of them before.
Well, Alan, Mike, Mark, thank you so much for your time. Tiger's quest for 15 majors continues, but he'll be back in action competitively at the Hero World Challenge next week. We'll look forward to it. Thanks for joining us here on Tour Confidential on Golf.com. We'll see you right back here next week.